Hey, what's up cuzzies? It's Kiwi here and we're back for another top 5 for Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. So today we're doing the top 5 characters in Shu. So let's kick it off, eh? Okay, so number 5. Okay, so this spot belongs to the old guy. You know the one with the beard, the hair and the hat and the bow. Zhongfei, that's the guy I'm talking about. Okay, so let's talk about why we got Hanzo here. So Hanzo is here basically just because he has a bow. That's about it. There's nothing special about his X or Musu attacks. His Musu attack does do a decent amount of damage and it's controllable, but I'd rather one that does a large area of effect instead. But even though he is quite plain for a ranger, he's still powerful enough to make it into this top 5 because you can just kite enemies, use his second string charge attack or his third string charge attack. I usually just stick to the second string, and that's mainly because the third string doesn't really do much more for your Musu or your health unless the enemies are quite close. And let's be honest, if you're playing as a ranger, you don't really want the enemies close enough to smell you anyway. So yeah, just stick with the second string charge attack, get yourself some Musu, get yourself some health so they're both full, and then kite the enemy officers by just running in circles or pick them all up, get them to follow you. And once you feel like you have enough officers, just start circling them. Do quite tight circles and this should make the officers go into quite a tight cluster. Once they're in this cluster, just run in there, hit them with your Musu attack, and then you can either just try and make a run for it, which is what I usually do because I get lazy, or you can use your special attack, hit jump and then hit jump again to get out of there, or in the middle of your jump you can press R1 again, which will put him into a aerial special which pushes him forward. And then you're back at step 1 where you're just trying to restore your Musu and health if you need to. Alright, next character, number 4. Okay, so this spot goes to Zhongfei. Now, Zhongfei is using the same strategy as Hanzo, where you want to kite the enemies. But with Zhongfei, it's a little easier, and there are 2 different ways you can do it. Now the first way is just like Hanzo, where you get your Musu and health and then you kite the officers, or you could kite all the officers first and then group them into a nice tight little area, start running in a straight line, turn around and attack and use a charge attack to restore your Musu and health, and right at the end of your charge attack quickly hit the Musu button. And the reason this way works as well is because he has a great set of normal attacks which sweep the area in front of him, covering quite a decent range, and if you put reach on his weapon as well, it makes it even more effective. And not only does he have this great range with this weapon, he also does a lot of damage with it, which is very helpful when you've got all the officers grouped together, because you can take out clusters of officers all at once thanks to his Musu and his power. So to sum it up, Zhongfei has a great set of normal attacks. He has great charge attacks which restore quite a lot of your Musu and quite a lot of your health. And he also does a lot of damage on his normal attacks, his charge attacks, and his Musu attacks, which makes him a great number 4. So moving along, number 3. And this belongs to Guan Yu, the other guy with the beard and the hat, but not the bow. So yeah, Guan Yu's here because he basically does a better job of what Zhongfei does. And that's just because Guan Yu's weapon has a lot more reach, but it still covers the same amount of area in front of him. Now, when I say that, I'm just imagine like you cut the top of a circle off and you place it in front of him. This is the area I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about the reach forward, but just the small area in front of them. And not only can he do all of this, but he can also raise his stats temporarily. Now the stats I'm talking about are his attack and defense stats. So what you do is you just press triangle twice and that will activate his X attack, which raises his attack and his defense temporarily. So let's get into how I use this guy. Now I'll be honest, it's pretty much exactly the same way as I use Zhongfei. I either kite the officers first and then use my charge attack to get Musu, and right at the end of that charge attack I will hit them with Musu, or I quickly get my Musu and then I start grouping all the officers into a tight cluster and hitting them with my Musu while they're all close together. So yeah, both methods work well, but I found that the latter is usually safer. So to sum it up, he has a great attack and defense capabilities. His Musu does a lot of damage, and if you get enough officers together you can usually wipe them out in one shot, unless they have buffs, then it's probably going to take you two. So yeah, on to our next character, number 2. Now this spot belongs to the lovely Zenkai. Now the reason she's here is because she has a shield and a sword. And this is significant because this gives her the ability to attack while blocking at the same time. Now you can only block attacks that come from the front, it doesn't work on the side or from behind. But it's still a great technique for her, because now it makes things a lot easier when you're kiting. So once you have all your enemies all together, you simply just have them all in front of you, you attack 3 times with square and then you use your charge attack. Now this is also attached to her X attack, which raises your attack power. But to be honest, I would only use it if I thought it was safe to do so, because it does leave you open. But if you do get caught off guard, her 2 specials, the one on the ground and the one on air, do push her forward. The one on the ground does push her significantly further, but they both do move her out of the way of danger. So if you do get clipped, just tap R1 and that should put you out of danger's way. Okay, so let's go over the quick strategy on how I use her. So what I do first, I round up all the enemies. I use her 3rd string attack to either just get Musu or get more attack power. Once this is done, I'll either hit my Musu button if the officers are close enough. If they're not, I'll move to a position where I'm closer to them so that my Musu can hit them. Now the cool thing about this Musu attack is it doesn't just have you standing still, it's actually a charging attack that you can control. And after my Musu attack has ended, I will hit the R1 button to ride my shield. So what she does, she throws it on the ground and she surfs it, and she moves quite a long distance, usually enough to get you out of the mob. Now if you aren't far enough out, you can either just keep running or you can hit that special button again, and then just rinse and repeat. So that was my number 2. Moving on to number 1. Okay, so this spot belongs to Sushi. Now he was actually one of the first broken characters I was ever introduced to in this game. He was the character I used when I first started playing Gauntlet mode. Okay, so let's tell you why I think he's a little broken, and that's just because of his R1 attack. His special attack is quite overpowered, and that's just because he makes arrows rain down from the sky, and he makes quite a few of them rain down, and the duration of this arrow attack is reasonably long. So if you're a low level and you don't have bombast yet, you can actually hide inside your arrows while they're still falling and hold circle while you're in there to restore your Musu, and then let off another special attack and just rinse and repeat over and over again. But if you do have bombast, then there's no need for that, because all you have to do is spam R1 and you will hit the 500 mark quite easily. Now I'm not talking about 500 kills, just 500 combo. And that's why Zushu's here, just because he has a very nice exploitable special. So this was my top 5, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, that's awesome. If you didn't, that's just too bad. But yeah, if you want to put your own top 5 down in the comments, or you want to tell me your opinion on the top 5 that I have, and whether you agree or whether you don't, doesn't matter, I'd love to hear it. Put it in the comment section below, and I'll catch you cuzzies later, man. See yous.